All right, welcome. So you've just got a brand new drone. The box is open, the battery's on the charger, and you are itching to get those incredible shots from the sky. But before you take off, there's that one little hurdle, the rules. Yeah, navigating European drone regulations can seem pretty complicated, but don't you worry. Stick with me for the next 5 minutes, and we're going to make this all crystal clear.
This is the big question, isn't it? That amazing excitement of your first flight. It usually comes with a little bit of confusion. You know, where can I actually fly this thing? How high can I go? Do I need some kind of license? And that's exactly what we're going to clear up for you right now. We're going to give you a super straightforward path from unboxing that drone to legally flying it in Europe's skies.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We've laid this out to be as simple as possible. First up, we'll cover the absolute #1 thing you have to do. Then we'll get into the 3 main flight categories and really dig into the open category because that's where most of you will be. We'll also touch on what to do for higher risk flights, cover your legal duties, and wrap it all up with a simple pre-flight check. Sound good? Let's go.
Right. Section 1. The first rule. Before we even think about where or how to fly, there's one foundational step that is the absolute starting point for every single drone pilot in the EU.
And here it is straight from the source, EASA, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency. Now, this is a big one, and it trips a lot of people up. You don't register the drone. Nope. You register yourself as the operator. Think of it like this. You have a driver's license, and your car has a registration. It's you, the responsible person, that the authorities need on file. You just do this once with the National Aviation Authority in your country. Now, to understand all the rules we're about to talk about, you've got to get your head around one central idea. Everything, and I mean everything, is based on risk. The entire European drone rulebook is built around a simple question. How much risk does this flight pose to people on the ground and to other planes in the air? That philosophy dictates every single rule. So let's get into Section 2. With that idea of risk in mind, every single drone flight you could ever make falls into one of 3 categories. Figuring out which category you're in is the absolute key to knowing which rules you need to follow. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. You've got open, specific, and certified. The easiest way to think about it is like this. The open category is low risk, kind of like riding a bicycle. You just learn the basic rules of the road and you're good to go. The specific category is medium risk, more like driving a car. It's more complex, so you need to get authorization. And the certified category, well, that's for the really high-risk stuff, like flying an airliner. That requires a whole lot of certification.
For our third section, we're going to zoom in on the open category because honestly, this is where pretty much all of you, hobbyists, and even a lot of professionals are going to be flying. These are the day-to-day rules for most of us.
So, no matter what kind of drone you're flying in the open category, these 4 are your golden rules. They apply to everyone, always. First, you got to stay below 120 meters. That's about 400 feet. Second, you have to be able to see your drone with your own eyes at all times. That's what they call visual line of sight, or VLOS. Third, you absolutely cannot fly over crowds or big groups of people. And finally, no carrying dangerous stuff or dropping things from your drone. Pretty straightforward, right? And here's where that whole risk-based idea really clicks into place, right? The open category gets broken down even more based on how heavy your drone is. That's the C0 to C4 class marking. The simple rule of thumb is the lighter your drone, the closer you can get to people. Subcategory A1 is for the tiny drones, so you can fly over uninvolved people. A2 is for medium-sized drones, and you have to keep a safe distance, and A3 is for the heavier ones where you've got to fly far away from anybody who's not part of your flight crew. See? It all comes back to risk.
Okay, Section 4. But what happens if you can't follow those open category rules? What if your job needs you to fly beyond your line of sight or over a city? Well, that's when you have to step up into the higher risk categories, specific and certified.
For the specific category, you're going to need something called a SORA. It stands for Specific Operations Risk Assessment. And yeah, it sounds super technical, but think of it like this. It's your homework. It's a formal safety case where you write a detailed report for the Aviation Authority proving that you've thought through every possible danger and have a solid plan to make it safe.
So the SORA process follows these 5 main steps. You start by describing exactly what you want to do. Then you figure out the ground risk. What's the danger to people below? And the air risk. What's the chance of hitting another aircraft? Based on that, you define how safe you need to be, and then you propose solutions, like using a drone with a parachute, to prove you can do it safely. It's a very thorough safety argument.
All right, let's move on to Section 5, because flying your drone safely is one thing, but you've also got some really important legal duties to think about before you even think about taking off.
We already talked about registering yourself. And of course, you've got to think about privacy. That camera on your drone is powerful. Plus, you have to know about geographical zones, no-fly areas around airports and stuff. But the one I really want to double-click on here, the one that's absolutely critical, is insurance.
Just look at that number, 1.3 million euros. This number comes directly from EU regulations, and is the standard minimum liability coverage you need to have. It's set that high for a reason, to cover the absolute worst-case scenarios, making sure any potential accident has a financial safety net.
And look, the big takeaway here is that drone insurance, it isn't just a nice-to-have. In many cases, it's the law. But beyond that, it's just critical financial protection for you. An accident can happen in a split second, and the cost can be, well, astronomical. Getting proper insurance is completely non-negotiable.
And that brings us to our final section. We have covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From registration to risk categories and insurance. So let's boil everything we've talked about down into a simple, final checklist you can run through before every single flight.
So, before you power up, just ask yourself these quick questions. 1. Am I, the operator, registered? 2. What's my category? It's probably going to be open. 3. Do I know my subcategory rules? A1, A2, or A3? 4. Am I insured? And 5. Have I checked the map for no-fly zones? You run through that list and you are set for a successful and, more importantly, a legal flight. Fly safe out there.
And that's our 5-minute guide to Europe's drone laws. It does leave you with a pretty big question, right? We're really just at the dawn of the drone age. As these things become more and more common, for deliveries, for inspections, for who knows what, how is this whole risk-based system going to have to adapt and evolve to keep our skies safe for everyone? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.